In the last section, we spoke about how we need to look inside that div and check to see if it contains the comment box. Before we take care of that, I want to point out one quick typo that I made in the last section. So in the last section, I wrote out document.create right here. There's actually no create function. This should have been create element, like so. So again, typo on my behalf, make sure you make that little change right there. Okay, so now back down to the comment right here. We need to look inside that div, so it's an actual div element, and we need to see if it contains our comment box. Now we're not going to just kind of beeline the solution here. Instead, I want to show you some behind the scenes steps along the way. So I'm going to first start by writing out console.log, and we're going to look at the HTML that this div contains. That's going to be our starting point. So I'll say div.innerHTML. Now, do make sure that you have capital HTML on here as well, not lowercase. I'll then save this file, and then we're going to go run this test file. So remember how we run a test inside of our project? All we have to do is write out npm run test at the terminal. So I'm going to change back to my terminal. I'll make sure that I'm inside my testing directory, and I'm going to run the command npm run test. Now when I run this command, it takes me a little bit of time to actually start up the test suite, so I already started up the test suite in this separate terminal window over here. So when you run npm run test, you'll very quickly see something like this that appears on the screen. At the top, we see the same testing output that we saw before when we ran the built-in tests at the start of this course. And then underneath that, we'll see the actual console log that we just issued from our app.test file. So here is the contents of that div element. We've got a parent div, we've got another div with the text comment box, and then we've got div comment list after that. So clearly, the text right here of comment box is coming from our comment box component. So without a doubt, yes, this thing is visible. The comment box component exists in here. So we're now going to go back over to our test file, and we're going to write out a little bit of code that just makes the claim, or really checks to make sure that the comment box does exist inside there. It's not enough for you and I to just visually look at this. We have to actually write out code that verifies, yes, the comment box exists. So to do so, I'm going to remove my console.log here, and I'm going to first just write out the code that's going to make sure that that comment box exists. We'll then talk about exactly what that code is doing. So I'm going to say expect div.innerHTML, and then outside of the parentheses, I'll do to contain comment box. And I'm going to make sure that I have comment box right here with the identical spacing, capitalization, everything as our actual comment box component over here. So you'll notice that I have comment box with capital C and capital B. So I'm going to make sure I get the exact same thing over here as well. Then I'll save the file, and I will go back over to my terminal and see if the test is passing still. So now back over here, it looks like the test is still passing. So that's pretty much it. We wrote out our first test here. Now, of course, this test is basically identical to the one that we already did a little bit ago. So I'm not going to say that we should be too excited just yet. And in fact, if anything, I'm going to actually claim that maybe we should not be excited about this line of code at all. So let's take a quick pause right here. When we come back to the next section, we're going to talk about exactly what this line of code does, and then we'll also start to talk about why maybe this test that we just wrote out right here is not the best approach to testing at all. So quick break, and we'll start talking about that in the next video.